Hey guys, what's up? It's Darkmech here with another Gold Challenge Mode guide in the Protection Warrior No Death Knight in the group series. So today we are in Bloodmaul Slag mines, and to start off we're going to pull these two right out of the gate and the three padding on the bridge. So this will give us two Enforcers, two Enslavers and one Overseer. Now the Bloodmaul Enforcers, these are the guys that cast the Crush. Now their dust will appear on the ground as you can see there, and all you want to do is move out of it. If as the tank you get hit, you'll get stunned and you won't die. If you're a DPS or a healer, you will get one shot from that Crush. The Bloodmaul Overseers, they're going to cast a thing called Subjugate, and it'll stun someone for 10 seconds. You want to make sure you're interrupting this. They will also put down a thing called Suppression Field, which is a purple sort of patch on the ground, and if you're in it, you'll get silenced. The Bloodmaul Slavers, now they cast a thing called Slaver's Rage on themselves. Now you can dispel it like normal in rages, your shivs, your tranks, your soothes, and it'll just keep building on them, so keep an eye on that buff. One other thing I probably should point out, as you can see, I've had to kite these guys around a fair bit. There'll be a debuff that they put on the tank, which is every stack of it reduces your armor by 10%. So I had a 4 stack at one stage there, and you end up taking quite a bit of damage. So Prot Warriors, just be mindful with your intervenes and your heroic leaps. You will have to probably kite quite a few of these packs around a little bit. So once we're done with the 5 on the bridge, we're going to go around the corner and we're going to pull these ones you can see me pulling now. So it's the Slaver on the right wall, the Padding Enforcer, the Sleeping Slaver, and the other Slaver on the other wall. Again, you just want to be watching the enraged stacks on the Slavers, dodging the Crushes. The Trash, as I said before, hits fairly hard, and you can see that debuff that's ticking away on me at 12, 11, 10 seconds there now. That's that armor reduction debuff I was talking about. So at the moment I got one stack, which is 10% less armor. So just keep in mind, be watching those stacks, and if you have to kite away, make sure that you do that. Now once these guys are down, we're going to go and pull this next 3 that you can see me doing. Now because we don't have a DK to grip that Geomancer there up, what I do is I'm waiting for the healer to get a little bit of mana. I pull it, then I run, and I eventually get over this rock, and I use line of sight to pull these guys up. So what you're going to do here is you're going to focus on the Geomancer. Now the Geomancer, they buff themselves and the other mobs around them with Stone Bulwark, can be dispelled or interrupted. The Overseer and the Enforcer, which we've already sort of been over what you're going to get with them. So again, just watching the suppression fields and the subjugates and watching the crushes. There'll also be 2 padding mobs going down the hallway. If you can grab them and handle them, you should. They weren't anywhere near these guys when we got them, so we just had to get them after. But keep that in mind, if the 2 padding are there and you can handle it, grab them in with these 3 and do another pack of 5. So once we finally get this last Enforcer down, we are going to go around the corner and we're going to do a pretty nasty pack of 3. Now this next pack of 3 has 1 Bloodmaul Water in it. These fuckers cast Fear and you need to interrupt it. And the other 2 are the Bloodmaul Ogre Mages. Now these cast Lava Burst and it fucking hurts. So first one I jump in and Spell Reflect, then I'm going to interrupt one of them, and then I'm going to pray to God that I pretty much don't die and our AoE sees us through. So as you can see, you want to be rotating any kind of stuns you can here, Spell Reflect, Solar Beams. The mages will also cast a thing called Blood Rage onto the water, and you want to be interrupting that or purging that off him straight away if it does get off. We get through this pack quite seamlessly this time, but we did get wrecked on it the first 2 times we came through here. I think just not expecting how much damage the Prot Warrior would actually take on that pack. So just be aware of it, have your stun order, and just try and lock down whatever you can. So once they're down, we're going to grab the 2 adds just before the boss, the one to the right and the one down by the boss's side. They're 2 waters, so again, have something set up for interrupts. As you can see, we really didn't. Again, we usually run 2 on a marked and 2 on an unmarked, and I've just put a mark up there. We were a little bit sort of slack. We were sort of running with a new group this time, so not everything was second nature to people, I suppose. And we were also running a druid, the Boom Chicken, through for the first time, who was having enormous latency problems, as you can see by his damage. So things weren't dying as quick either, which obviously changes up how things work as well. So once they're down, we've interrupted their fears, we've got no worries because that's all they do. We're going to get onto the first boss, Slave Watcher Crushto. Now Slave Watcher will cast a thing called Earth Crush. It will raise a pillar out of the ground and punt it in a straight line from him. Basically, you don't want to be standing in front of it. If you do get hit, you get stunned, and it's just so easy to dodge, so you really shouldn't be getting hit by it. And after he's done that, he's going to cast a thing called Crushing Leap. He's going to jump to a random player's location, root them in place for 8 seconds, and that'll cause the adds to run towards that person. Now, warrior tanks, we can just use Mocking Banner. Brewmasters, you can use Ox Statue. Or worst case scenario, get your group to stand close to you so you can just cleave off the adds and they'll go on to you. He's also going to cast a thing called Ferocious Yell, which is a fear, and you always need to be interrupted. I was running the Rude Interruption glyph, so I was just getting all the interrupts on the boss just to try and up my damage, because Prot single target isn't super fantastic. And that's pretty much it for this boss. It is quite simple. It really shouldn't give you any trouble at all. Make sure you're interrupting the Ferocious Yells. If you do have adds on you, run in towards the tank unless they've got a Mocking Banner up or a statue or some way like that, or an AoE grip to get them all in. It just makes it easy to cleave down. I actually found the adds did quite a bit of fucking damage to me on the Prot Warrior, which is really weird because I can't say I ever sort of had many issues or any issues for that fact on this boss, but the adds seem to want to tear me a new one at times, so just be mindful of that. So once the boss is down, we're going up and we're going to the right, so not back the way we came like you would on Heroic, we're going to the right. So we're going to pull the remaining padding 2 ogres here, the Geomancer and the Overseer. Again, we're going to focus down the Geomancer. This is the pack that I was talking about when we pulled that 3 where I used the pillar to line of sight. If these 2 are there, pull them in with that pack. It just means that you don't have to waste time killing them now. So focus down the Geomancer and just cleave off onto the Overseer. The Overseer's, you know, as long as you're interrupting the Subjugate cast and you're not standing in a suppression field, they're really nothing to worry about. It's the Geomancer that you want to get down first. So we're going to start kiting forward now, and we're going to pull this next pack of 4. This next pack of 4 is an Enforcer and 3 Slavers. Again, you just want to watch for the Crushers and watch the stacks of Slavers Rage. Another thing to be mindful of, you can get really unlucky. They will, you can see the wing clip or the chain grips for people being pulled in there. Sometimes you can get really unlucky. They'll set up a crush and they will grip you right into the crush, and there is pretty much sweet fuck all you can do about that. That is just shit luck. So get down the Enforcer as quick as you can. We realistically should have been dropping the Enforcer before we were dropping the Slaver, but we're killing the Slavers. I have to kite around again here. And it's so easy to kite around on a warrior, have your healer stand at max range, intervene off, wait for them to get to you, and heroic leap the other way. We're so mobile, so make use of that. Be really mindful not to pull that pig in the corner there. You do not need it for mob count. It has a fuck ton of HP, and it is a waste of time, so just be mindful of that. You can see Jai sprinted up ahead and started to drink. So we're going to move around this corner, and we are going to pull Slagma, the lava worm, and we're going to go and grab this slaver that you can see is padding up on the left. Sometimes he may be all the way up near the gauntlet and you have to run up and get him, but make sure you do go and get him so you can kill these 2 at the same time. The slaver's the normal thing with the slaver's rage. Now Slagma, he'll cast fire on people, but an easy trick to Slagma, which I'm doing an okay job at the moment, but I'm not really doing a fantastic job for an example, is you kind of want to keep moving. If you keep moving every time, as you can sort of see I'm doing it now, every time he casts that lava spit, if you move, he won't actually hit you with the fire if you keep moving. So it is really easy to avoid taking any damage from that fire. So cleave these guys down as quick as you can. You, as the tank too, don't be afraid of sort of running off when you pull Slagma. It's not going to do any damage, it's just going to spit fire at people. So go get that slaver and get back to kill them. So next once they're down, we're going to move up and we're going to get ready to invis the gauntlet. So what we're going to do is we're going to move up to this front rock here. You can see we're going to packs up, we get a roar, and we're invising, and we're going to go in and we're going to go left, and our aim is to get behind the grate. I'll show you, we're getting up here in a moment. And our aim is this grate here. We're trying to get behind it. Now as soon as we pop out of invis, we will have a pack on us. Now this pack contains a Vengeful Magma, which will cast a thing called Cinder Splash. It doesn't do a lot of damage. There'll also be a bunch of small adds, you just want to cleave them down. But what you want to do is you want to get down this Vengeful Magma ASAP. Then once the Vengeful Magma is down, it is time for probably... It's definitely one of the break points in this instance, especially after you've just invised, and even worse when you don't have a DK. So this next pack we're about to go on to is made easy with DK Army, but we don't have a DK. So it's got a water which casts a fear, it's got a mage which does the lava burst and casts enrage, it's got a molten earth elemental that does a frontal cleave attack, and it's also got a new mob, a Bloodmaul Magma Binder. They'll cast a lava burst as well as an ability called Molten Binding which does an arse ton of damage and it reduces casting and attack speed by 70%. So what you want to do is get in here, get as many interrupts as you can. Warriors, you're going to have to pop everything, as you can see. Shield walls down, last stands up, enrage regen. I've used a health pot. You're going to have to go balls to the walls to get this down in big AoE. And you can see as well, we're basically, we're kind of formatting this instance at the moment. Our druid just did 14k DPS on a big pull. So that obviously doesn't help, but it does show you guys that you still can do this technically with 4 people and no DK. So once we're through that pack, we're going to get on to the second boss, Magmolatus. Now this is a 2-phase fight. Now in the first phase we have to kill the Forge Master Godar and his 2 adds that he summons. Now the first add is going to be a rock elemental named Runation. He'll cast a thing called Rough Smash, which is a frontal cone smash, and it will stun you if you get hit. So all you want to do is drag it over onto the boss, have it facing away from your melee, and every time it does Rough Smash, as you can see there, run out of it. You want to drop these adds pretty much as soon as they come up. You can probably cleave off Runation onto the boss, but you really do want to make sure that you are dropping Calamity, which is the second add, which is this fire elemental that has spawned. Now you can see it will cast Scorches. The main ability it'll cast is called Firestorm, which is there, and you want to make sure that you have an interrupt ready to go for that one. And then you just want to get him down as soon as possible and then back onto the Forge Master. Now the Forge Master really doesn't do a whole lot. He'll cast this Magma Barrage here, which pretty much does nothing. As you can see, no one is taking damage, and you just want to kill him. He's a pacing mechanic pretty much. So get him down, and once he is dead, Magmolatus, who is held prisoner in the forge here, will escape because he is a real rock slide, or whatever the fuck he says. Now Magmolatus, he isn't much chop either. He'll cast an ability called Slag Smash, which is a 360 smash attack, and all you want to do here is run out of the big circle of dust shit that comes up and then go back in. Now, normally we would ignore the adds that Magmolatus spawns and we would just focus him down. The only problem is, as you can still see, our druid is doing like 12k DPS at the moment, so we just don't have the DPS at the moment. We are really DPS light because we're basically doing a carry. So what I do is the adds that are close, I am just moving Magmolatus close to cleave down. I'm leaving that one up the back at the moment. It's dying anyway. There's a serpent sting on it and whatever else is going on, and it's just ticking down. But generally is how you speak, you would have the DPS to just ignore the adds. It's not a problem though, as you can see. If you do need to kill them, we're killing a couple of them and we're still going to get gold, so it's not a problem. If you do need to kill them, don't panic. And that is pretty much it. As you can see, Magmolatus really doesn't do much at all. The Molten Impact is the add spawn. He'll do his 360 smash, and you just want to make sure that you're running out of the way, and that is it. So once he's down, we are going to go and die. So die as quick as you can. Just jump into shit, die, and res, and you want to start running back. Make sure that you're rebuffing on the way down. God, it was a pain in the ass to die. I was like, come on, hurry up and kill me. Release. Now we're starting to run back. Now that obviously is the other problem with invising there. If you invis there and then you fuck up that pack that I was talking about, that's quite difficult. There's no resetting because you'd end up here and you'd have to go through the gauntlet again and you'd have to run all the way around, and it's just not an option. So just be aware of that. But we're going to res, we're going to run all the way back around and down to that place where we pulled the lava worm Slagma. Now the next pull that we're coming up to is the second breaking point in this dungeon, I suppose, or in this challenge mode. And it's your other chance to wipe, so you need a plan for it. It's 5 mobs, it's 2 Geomancers, 1 Water, 1 Enforcer, and 1 Overseer. So what we're going to do, I missed Pack and Raw here, so I'm like fucking so slow getting down here. Everyone's well fed and I'm just getting here. So obviously we could have saved time with this as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a focus on Skull. That's the first Geomancer, X is the second Geomancer, and Blue is the Warder who I am on for the fear interrupts. So our plan here is to drop Skull ASAP, then get onto X, and then clean up the rest. Now obviously without a DK for AoE grip, this is slightly harder to clump them up to maximize sort of your DPS, but it's really not too bad. Obviously if you had army here as well on a DK, it's a large advantage, but you do generally use it on the pull before the second boss. Warriors, just make sure that you are rotating what you've got available here, your shield walls, your shockwaves. You are going to take quite a bit of damage, and you do need to make sure that there is somebody making sure that they get the water interrupts. If a fear gets off here, if that frightening roar gets off, you are pretty much fucked. You want to be able to maximize all your time in regards to getting that first Geomancer down, then focusing the second one. You can see the second one's almost dead. Once you get one Geomancer dead, or sort of one mob in this pack down, it becomes immediately, like, it's so much easier. It becomes breathable. So get your Geomancers down, get your water down, using your shockwaves. If you've got engineering, your frag belt grenades, because you can also be interrupting the suppression field casts and things like that. You can see Cade just stood in a crush there and got one shot. So as I was saying about the crush before, it is really easy to dodge. You just need to make sure that you don't get hit by it, because if you are DPS, you will get one shot by it. If you're a tank, you will get stunned, but just for DPS, you guys will get one shot, so just be careful. So once we've cleaned up that, we are on to the third boss, Roltall. Now, Roltall's main ability is his fiery boulders you're about to see. He's going to cast 3 of them. They are the big orange circles on the bridge. That's where they're going to land. They're going to go down the bridge, and they're going to come back up. I really chose a risky path to run there. That wasn't very smart, but I don't get hit, so it's okay. Now, as a prop warrior with Heroic Leap, all I'm going to do, well, as any warrior with Heroic Leap if you're watching this, I'm going to watch where the first boulder goes. Once it's come, I am going to Heroic Leap to that spot, and I'm going to be safe because there's going to be no other ball that will track over that path. He'll also cast an ability, as you saw there, called Heat Wave, which will push you down the bridge, and obviously if you're trying to dodge boulders with that, it will make your life hard, so just be wary of that. If you're a monk, you can place Transcendence and easily teleport to a place, so just use whatever you've got available, but just pay attention and you'll be fine. He'll also put fire on the bridge, and as normal, you don't want to stand in the fire. For healers and range classes, don't stand at max range. You want to be on his half of the bridge near melee. It will make your life so much easier, so don't be max range. You can see just how slow we are DPS here again. Our druid's on 10k at the moment just looking at this, and we've now had 2 heat waves and 2 sets of boulders. Now normally he should be well and truly dead by now. We actually end up getting 3 sets of boulders, which is I would almost bank this as the slowest challenge mode kill in history. It's fucking terrible. Like, to get 3 sets of boulders, I was honestly worried that we were nearly going to miss out on gold due to this. It is really woeful, but again, it does show you that you still can get gold even when things like this happen. So once he's dead, we're going around and we're going to pull this Bloodmaul Slag. He isn't a huge deal. He has a lot of health. He hits quite hard on the warrior, so just be mindful of that. But realistically, you shouldn't sort of have any trouble with him. As you can see, he actually does hit quite hard on the prop warrior. But just get him down as quick as you can. And then you're going to go and do the next tricky part of the instance, I suppose, where the hunters really shine for this part. The next part after we get him down is 2 Bloodmaul Slag. Now to deal with this, we have the hunter go grab them, use disengage and deterrence. They're going to go to the right with the 2 Ogrons, and we're going to run in and we're going to go to the left. Here they are up ahead. You can do the same with a rogue. You can sacrifice someone and just get them to go pull it, die over on the right side while everyone gets around to the left side and then go res them. So you're not just locked to having a hunter, but you can see Neo pulls them off that way. We all run in and we go to the left. Now once we're alright, Neo just checks that we're all in. We say yep, he feigns death, they reset. You can camo run through them as well, which I'm pretty sure is what Neo ends up doing. And then we're going to go and pull these last 4 mobs before the boss. Now you won't have seen these mobs throughout the instance. These ones are called Bloodmaul Flame Speakers. Now these guys cast a thing called Channel Flames, which you can spell reflect, which I've got up there at the moment. It doesn't do half as much damage as if you were on a Death Knight and you're dark simming it, but it still does do a fair bit of damage. You can see I'm still sort of rocking the damage meter there. So prop warriors, make sure that you are spell reflecting the Channel Flames. If you're on a DK, use your spell reflect.
They will also cast a thing called Exploding Flames, which you can interrupt, but otherwise just make sure you're not standing in the fire. It's really not sort of hard to dodge. You can look which way they're facing, they're going to cast it, and you just move out of the way. It's pretty simple. So drop them down, and then we are on to the last boss and all that stands between our gold, Gug'rokk. Now, Gug'rokk is going to cast Molten Blast off the bat. You want to have your Spell Reflection ready to bing that back at him, or a pummel or something like that to interrupt. You want to interrupt whatever you can unless you're on a DK and you're letting them go through for Dark Sim. So one of the abilities Gug'rokk is going to cast is a thing called Flame Buffet. He'll put this on all players, and it'll increase the amount of fire damage that you are going to take. Now, healers can dispel it, so just watch whoever has the most stacks, whoever's going to take damage next in regards to your priority for dispelling it. He's also going to cast a thing called Magma Eruption. It's going to spawn pools of fire on the ground, and again, you just don't want to be standing in the fire like all things normal. I should add, sometimes for tanks, when you go to move Gug'rokk, you'll actually have to wait for him to cast his Molten Blast, and then interrupt him to get him to move along with you, otherwise he might just stand there like a dick. As you can see, he will also summon and add the Unstable Slag. You want to make sure that you are killing those Unstable Slags. It's okay to ignore them when, say, he's on 5% and he spawned a new one, but otherwise you need to make sure you are killing those adds and they're not getting through to the end, otherwise they will fuck your shit up. So make sure you can stun them, so warriors with shockwaves, monks with leg sweeps, DKs you can actually grip them back or to your location. So you've got a number of options, just make sure you don't let them get through to the end. So you can see the fire does sort of start to fill up the room, so it is a bit of a DPS race to get him down as quick as you can. Warriors, another thing you want to be doing is making sure that you are spell reflecting all those molten blasts that you can. They do a fuck ton of damage, and obviously we're all about trying to kill this boss as quick as we can, so make sure that you are spell reflecting whatever you can. And we're just going to get this guy down. Now we've got 55 seconds left on gold, which isn't really too bad considering we pretty much had to carry our poor druid through that entire run nearly. So it just shows you can get gold with a far less optimal group makeup, and that is how you do it on the Prot Warrior with no DK, guys. So thanks very much for watching, and good luck.